Hello, my name is Robert B. Hayek. I am the author of 5 self-published thriller books, and today I'm going to be talking about 7 things that make a thriller a good thriller. So with that being said, let's get going. Number 1. There always needs to be a crime. No matter what thriller you have, no matter what thriller you read, no matter what thriller you watch, there has to be a crime. In my book John Drake, there was a crime at the very beginning. In my book The Twisted Society, there was a murder mystery. In my book The Secret Link, there is an unsolved crime that hasn't happened yet. In The Death Stalker, there was a bomb exploding a house and a mystery. And in The Gridiron Vendetta, there was pretty much stalkers. So all of my books, including my future ones, have a crime that either sets the book in motion or has the main characters trying to figure out what's going on. And that is the first reason what makes a good thriller. Number 2, victims. I don't always mean like you have to kill off a bunch of characters, but there has to be a victim, whether it's somebody losing their life, a character losing their identity, losing their self-worth. There has to be some kind of victim. If everybody gets away unscathed, it doesn't make a good thriller. You have to have a thriller that essentially makes somebody pay for the mistakes of someone else, unfortunately. In my books, I always have a victim either at the beginning or towards the middle, or I just space it out depending on the context. So you always have to have victims. Somebody has to suffer, unfortunately, because that's what drives the main character and the other characters forward. A great antagonist. Number 3. You need to have a great antagonist. All 5 of my books have a great antagonist, whether it's the main antagonist, a secondary antagonist. Sometimes they don't even reveal themselves, but for the most part, they are overarching, they're commanding the respect of the main characters. They're orchestrating everything in secret, which is very, very fun. A great antagonist will make your story better, will make your movie better, will make your book better. A great antagonist will drive the plot forward and will make the main characters do things they don't want to do. And essentially, it enhances your book, enhances your thriller, makes it all well. Number 4. Red herrings and great clues. You have to leave great clues for your reader, for your viewer. If you're making a movie, if you're making a book, you have to leave great clues that lead them to somewhere else and then bring them back to you. The clues can be anywhere between who killed this person or where this person's going to be, or like the mystery opponent, essentially. And once you leave these red herrings, it puts the reader in a sense where they want to discover what's going to happen. And when they figure out that it was a red herring, it leaves their minds blown. So leaving them a red herring or a nice clue about the identity of the antagonist or what the antagonist is going to do will only help your story forward, and that's what makes a great thriller. Number 5, a speech about the antagonist. Now, this one I'm kind of agreeing with, I'm kind of disagreeing with. It all depends on how your main character's relationship with your antagonist is. For me, I always do have my main characters discuss the antagonist at some point or another, discussing how they're going to stop him, how they're going to beat him or her. And essentially, it's very important for any thriller. You have to have an overarching antagonist, as I mentioned earlier, that threatens the lives or the livelihood of everyone else. And then the main characters and the supporting characters have to figure out how to bring them down. That is the very integral part of any thriller story, and especially when it comes to getting towards the end of the book or movie. Number 6, reason for antagonists. Now, if you're making a popcorn movie, you can just make a bad guy who does bad things because reasons. But I like to have bad guys who are a little bit more sophisticated. In my book, John Drake, I have 2 antagonists, and I give them reasons for doing what they're doing. One of them was because, actually, both of them had the same reason. They both were in love with a woman, and it didn't work out for them one way or another. I'm not going to reveal too much of the plot. And because of that, it darkened their hearts and made them act out in the way they did. Now, in this one, this was also the antagonist acted out of tragedy. Tragedy was a compounding factor in all the antagonist's lives in my books, with the exception of money or revenge. It's either revenge or it's tragedy. Those are the 2 compounding reasons I use for my antagonist. And the antagonist has to have a good reason. He can't just kill people because reasons. I know there are people like that in the world, but that also makes for a very unoriginal thriller, and it gets boring at the end. And finally, high stakes. Now, I kind of overdo the high stakes for my books. I like to have the main character and the antagonist face off in a very dangerous setting, whether it's a cliff or whether it's in the savannah or whether it's on a top of a high-rise building. You have to have high stakes. You can't just believe the main characters are going to get away and unscathed. You have to have a reason to believe that they may not make it, that somebody will perish. The high stakes are what drives your thriller, what makes it even better, because it keeps your readers or your watchers engaged and keeps them going. The high stakes are very, very elemental to any thriller, book, or movie that you will read or watch. And once you have those high stakes, you can get so creative with everything you do. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm an independent author still finding my way in the world, but I've learned so many things about writing, about selling books, about everything in general. If you'd like to support my journey and keep learning more about my future books, my current books, just like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these videos to just show you guys my path and everything I've done. Thank you.